Welcome everyone. I think it's time to start the ceremony of the mathematics department. This is always one of the happiest occasions in the year. I like nothing better than as a proud teacher to see all of our hardworking students succeed. I'm actually kind of the parent of several students today, and so this is a very happy day for me as well. And as parents, I think they are even happier than I am. So, a few years ago, I started a habit of having a graduation speaker. The first 2-3 years, I gave a graduation speech myself. And I improved the quality a lot by asking other people to be our graduation speakers. Today, I'm extremely happy that we have our most distinguished faculty member, Tom Banks, as our graduation speaker. He is not only our most distinguished faculty, but he also is a graduate state. So he knows NC State better than any of us. So I'm pleased to introduce Tom Banks, who will be our graduation speaker.
Okay, thanks, Luke. I don't know what for, but thanks. I usually avoid these things like the plague. I come to the ceremonies, but I don't like, if I'm talking about mathematics, I'm comfortable. Otherwise, I'm not. Anyway, when I got the invitation at midnight last Thursday night, so I think they couldn't find anybody else, quite frankly. And so I immediately called one of the secretaries, Charlene here. Anyway, I called Charlene. I said, Charlene, what's this all about? She says, you'll have to ask Di. I said, well, I've got a 45-minute lecture about HIV modeling, and I think they would really like to hear what we do as a mathematician. Well, Dr. Banks, I don't know about that. You better ask Di. So I called Di, and I think Di almost had a heart attack. She said, oh, no, Dr. Banks, you wouldn't. Just welcome them, tell them you're happy, so forth, to have them here, and let it go. So, well, I can't resist. I'm sorry. I just can't. One of the things you learn at a large institution is you learn that it's much better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. So, after it's over today, I will ask her forgiveness for giving a slide talk. The other reason that I wanted to, I finally, well, I couldn't, I called him Friday, said, okay, I'll do it, send an email. I couldn't think of a plausible lie for why I couldn't do it. And so, and I had one good reason for doing it. I looked at the calendar and I thought, what day is it, Mikey? What day is it, Mikey? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's hump day, right? So my wife hates that commercial. I love it. The camel comes walking down. Okay. So if nothing else, I thought I could go home and tell my wife after it's over that I mentioned hump day. She finds the whole camel ad disgusting. And how many people here have ridden a camel? I did this in Tunisia a couple of years ago. They're fun animals, right? Anyway, I just couldn't help myself to take a few minutes and talk to you about what mathematicians do, or what some mathematicians do. I would ask you not to blame all my colleagues for what I do, but in any case, so I do have about a 45-minute presentation here. I'm only going to show you 2 slides. I'm sorry, 3. A lot. Okay. Since I've had the privilege to lead a team, we've been working on HIV, and so I don't know what. Let me give you my 2-cent version of what happens when you become HIV infected. When you become HIV infected, there's a huge war goes on between your immune response system and the invading virus. And how that turns out down the road depends on what's going to happen to you. Also, if we know how it's going to turn out, then we can prescribe treatment. And so in around 2000, there was a group of us, and so on this, but anyway, there are a couple of people there. Marie Davidian is a statistician here at NC State that joined the group in an early part, and the rest of those go out. He and Tran's colleague, the rest of those people are either postdocs or graduate students. The other important person is Eric Rosenberg. He's an immunologist and a practicing physician at Mass General. We set out to try to understand and develop predictive models for HIV. And the idea, so what happens is in the early part of this, in the acute phase, there's your system your immune system starts to fight this virus. And what happens, let me find the slide I want to show you. Okay, that's the last slide. So you're safe. So what happens over the course of the next 5 years? There's something called a set point. This is the viral load, copies per milliliter of virus in your blood. And so over the next 4 or 5 years, even as early as 1 year, sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years to get to this. But if you settle out in this war, if you settle out around 60,000 copies of viral load per milliliter, then you're going to progress to AIDS in anywhere from 1 to 4 years. If you're lucky enough that you are going to settle out at 30,000 copies, then it'll take 18 to 15 years for AIDS to develop, usually. If you if you're lucky, really lucky, and you settle out about 12,000 copies, then what will happen is that we don't know. People have been living HIV. If you don't understand HIV, there's no cure, right? So once you're HIV positive, you're always positive, right? It's kind of like chicken pox. If you've had chicken pox, and all of us are carrying potential for shingles. Some of us get it, some of us don't. Anyway, so one of the things we're trying to do was to try to figure out if we could figure out where, now, if I'm headed for 60,000, I want you to be cave bar the door about treatment, right? I don't want to wait until I develop AIDS. If I'm headed for 12,000, so it's really important for us to know in our treatment of patients where they're headed. What's their set, this 60,000, 30,000, those are called set points. They have a formal mathematical definition, but, and of course these things are not exact. You understand what this is like a trinomial distribution. There's a triple normal, okay, distribution for the ones that anyway, they cluster around these things, and so these are averages. And so one of the things we set out with this team was to try to develop models, so mathematical models that we could, and we had a major breakthrough around 2005, 2006. We were able to look at data with patients for going on and off treatment. And if we can get that data in the first 6 months to a year, we can tell where your set point's going to be 4 or 5 years down the road. And we can tell the physicians whether they should treat aggressively, whether they should just have you come in once a year, or relax. The people who are headed for 12,000, some of them have been HIV positive since the early 80s, and there's no sign. So of course, one of the things you like to do is you like to train the system so if it was headed for 60, we work on that problem. Anyway, this was successful enough that it's led to a lot of NIH funding for our team, and we've been able to, we use this, we're carrying out clinical trials up at Mass General right now. They will finish this spring. We designed the clinical trials using the mathematical models for prediction. So the mathematical models have played an absolutely essential role. Now, somebody says, what's a mathematical model? Well, you go look at the physiology of what's going on in various cells that are battling among themselves. And you try to write down descriptions, mathematical descriptions of who does what to whom. Okay? And so, anyway, this is all I'm going to say about this, right? But I just could not resist the opportunity to tell you a little bit about, that part was easy. Now comes the hard part. I've got to try to they told me to be funny, but keep it clean, and other thoughts, right? Okay, so As Luke told you, I came here, I grew up in North Carolina. I came here as an undergraduate, and he says I know all about NC State. I'm afraid that's not true. He lied to you. I was an undergraduate here from 1959 to 1963. And then I went away and I got a degree at Purdue after that. And then I was at Brown University in Providence for 22 years. Went to California to start a research center for them. And then in 1992, I was invited to come back. The campus had already changed greatly since then. And as you can imagine, since I've been away for what? From 63 to 92, most of the professors that I knew had retired or were about to retire, and the ones that were still here who knew me wanted no part of me. No, seriously, there were a couple of people who were instrumental. When I was a young person here, one of them was, well, I won't go into all that. Anyway, I will tell you a little story. And, you know, a lot of times these things are very emotional, especially for parents, right? It's a very emotional event. And so I made a bet with somebody earlier today. I said, I'll bet I can make some of the parents tear up during this little talk. And they bet me, okay? So I said, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what it was like my freshman year here. I came here. This is what's going to cause you to shed tears. Tuition was $125 a semester. Dorm rent was $75 for the whole semester. I had a $250 scholarship so I could pay for my tuition, pay for my dorm rent, and $50 left to buy books. $50 bought all the books I needed for a semester. So basically all I had to do was work enough to feed myself through college. But I mean, even with that, when I finished graduate school, I still had debt and it took 10 years to pay off. But it's nothing like the debt that some of you have encountered in putting your kids through school. I have a son and a daughter. My son's professor out in the University of Washington, and his daughter just started freshman year at the University of Midlands. And so now he's in this same cycle of tuition. The other daughter is only 2 years younger. So he's going to have two paying tuition through this. So I understand where some of you are, and I know that parents at least, you're thankful for many reasons, not the least of which, you know, it's somebody else's turn to pay the bill. When I first came back here, I concentrated in the early part on building the graduate programming, building up a center that had been started here, and then mostly graduate education. But the last couple of years, I got talked into helping with something we call the UBM program. And this is the undergraduate biomathematics program. I've had 2 different groups in this thing. It was a lot of fun. And most of the time, I call them the UBMers. Because only when I'm cross and a little irritated with them, I just call them the BMers. And they understand then that that's the day to stay away. Anyway, I don't, all of you that were at ceremonies this morning, you got a lot of good advice. And I don't have anything special. Well, my secretary, she said, you're not going to do that. She's not the secretary, she's my administrative assistant. She says, you're not going to do that, are you? She says, what are you going to say? I says, I don't know, maybe grab the diploma and run like hell and don't look back, right? So one of the things I will tell you, I decided not to do anything about personal history, but I'll tell you my dream when I was a freshman here at NC State. I had been working for a grocery chain called Winn-Dixie. Some of the older people will know what Winn-Dixie is. You younger folks never heard of Winn-Dixie. But they were a chain, And I had worked for them, and I thought if I came off to NC State, had a degree, that someday I could be a manager of Winn-Dixie. You know, along the way, you got to liking different things and so forth. So the only advice that I guess I irritate students sometimes. I asked them, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And for a lot of the undergraduates and a few of the grad students, they're perplexed. What do you mean where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years? But I think one piece of advice, you were exhorted this morning to go and be a risk taker and do things like that. By the way, it took me a while to figure out why I chose to come back to NC State rather than I was supposed to go back to Brown and be a chairman there. And I think I have the best job. I think the chairs have the worst job. Sorry, Luke, but I felt this way. And so, but the hardest decision for me to make as an adult was not to go back to Brown because I love the place. But to come here was easy. I came here because I was running towards something. And so I thought with the triangle here and with what was going on, and I have to tell you that also we're going to be 30 retirements out of the 60 faculty in mathematics when they made the pitch to me to come back. And I thought if we do the right kind of hiring in 15 years, or 2 a year that'll retire, that's 30 people out of 60 you can remake the department. And that's one of the things I'm very proud about this department. People have stepped up, and I don't know where it ranked when I came here, but we've hired enough good young people, and you probably know the figures on this. In mathematical sciences, we're easily in the top 10, maybe the top 5 in the nation in raising outside funding. One of the things that the faculty here have done, and this is not me, this is the rest of the faculty, there's something called infrastructure money. That's where the money came for the UBM program. That's where the money comes from, the REU, the REG, you name initials, we got them, right? And what we do is we write proposals. Collectively the faculty, write proposals for these initiatives to NSF, to NIH and everything. If they get funded, then we are able to give young people opportunities. And the faculty here has really stepped up and done that. So with that, I think I'm winding down. I don't want to tell any more stories, although several people came to me, I'll give you a good story to tell about so-and-so. And I thought, well, maybe not. So all of you who thought I was going to dig up some dirt on somebody, you'll go away disappointed. Anyway, I want to say that I'm very happy for all you new graduates, because that means the pool of people who are going to be asked to be donors is growing, right? So, I think for a while they used to have an outside speaker. You can tell me for a while. The outside speaker was someone who'd gone out in 10 or 15 years, they made it big, and so we invited them back to be a speaker, and guess what came after that? Right, show me the money. So I would exhort all of you to go out, be successful in 10 years, and let us know about it, and we'll invite you back as a speaker and ask you for money. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Highly appreciate it. We'll continue with our ceremony, and we'll start with the undergraduate degrees. So first, Alina Duca will do the presentation of the undergraduate degrees.
Good afternoon. Is my microphone okay? So, this is my first time doing the graduation, giving the diplomas to our undergraduate students, so I'm a little bit nervous, so go easy on me. The plan is to call your names, and you'll be coming out here, and Dr. Helmut will be giving you your diploma, and will congratulate you. I'm very proud of you. I'm proud and honored to give you your diploma. I feel like you've done all the work. All I get is to be up here and speak to you, and it's a bit unfair, but I'm proud of you, and I hope to hear from you as years pass, and to hear good things. Before you receive your diploma from Dr. Helmut, I have to tell you that there's one more requirement that you need to do before you get it, and that is patience. because you'll be getting it in about 2 months. So that's the last requirement, and then you will finally have your diploma. So what I would like to do before we, it's from Zimmer. So the plan is to ask groups of students to come up front here, and I will be starting with the students that graduated in the summer. Because we do not have a graduation in the summer, would you please come on the stage, and I will be calling your names, the ones that graduated in the summer. All right. So, the students, the math majors that graduated in the summer with a Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics are Michael Andrews from Sequoia Marina, North Carolina, Mabel McLaren, she's from Apex, North Carolina, I don't think she's here, and then Michael Turchin, Mike, he is from Flemington, New Jersey.
I'm taking photos, so please stop and get
Yes.
my way.
Please, you feel free to slow us down if you want to take pictures. Congratulations, Mike. Now, the students who received a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics in the summer, James Joy, he's from Raleigh, North Carolina. He received his degree with cum laude, and he also has a second major in physics. So we congratulate James. And then 2 more students graduated in the summer, and they're not here, Robert Kaiser and David McAllister. So now I would like to invite the students that will be receiving a Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics to come up here, and I will be calling the names that, in the order they appear in the program. Thank you. First, I would like to invite Charles Easy. He's from West Friendship, Maryland. He received his degree with cum laude and second major in physics. Melvin Montes from Rayford, North Carolina. Congratulations, Melvin. Matthew Morris is from Stanardsville, Virginia. He is a valedictorian and also majors in biology, and he's also a University Scholars Program. Dr. Helming, he also has a certificate from the University Scholars Program. Congratulations, Matt. You did great. We'll continue with Nicholas Parkin from Raleigh, North Carolina. He is a minor cum laude, also a minor in business administration, and he's also a University Scholars. He was in the University Scholars Program. Karen Stabile from Warren, Michigan. She's summa cum laude and second major in computer science. She's not here today. And also mathematics honors program. Kelsey Stevenson from Grand Rapids, Michigan. She also has a minor in biological sciences. And then Janelle Vasilevsky from Natick, Massachusetts. And minors in economics and statistics. Thank you. Let's move on to the students who will be receiving a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. If you could come up here. So I'll start off with Anthony Benson from Archdale, North Carolina. He's also receiving a minor in computer programming. Michael Bochnick Jr. from Raleigh, North Carolina. He's receiving Congratulations, Michael. Catherine Ganny from Denver, Colorado. She is also receiving and second major in economics. David Richard Gillespie from Zebulon, North Carolina. Richard is also doing a minor in military studies, aerospace studies. Next Next is Austin Jackson. He is from Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations, Austin. I'm going fast. First time. We have Rachel McCloskey. She's from Cary, North Carolina. And then Art Norman. He is from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Congratulations, Art. Matthew Norwood from Henderson, North Carolina. He's receiving his degree cum laude. Congratulations, Matthew. And then we have Laura Pope from Cary, North Carolina. She's receiving her degree cum laude. She's also in the mathematics honors program. And I have heard she gave an amazing performance this morning. Congratulations, Laura. Next we have Ji Sung Gyo from South Korea, who is not here. And then we also have Samantha Zuber from Lehigh, Pennsylvania. These are our undergraduate seniors who are receiving their Bachelor of Science diplomas, sometime in 6 to 8 weeks. Let's give them one more round of applause. They totally deserve it. It's amazing work. It's years worth of work. It's not easy to do a math degree. We're proud of you. You better go out there in the world and say, I'm pretty damn smart. I can do whatever I want. I got a math degree. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Jeff Scroggs. I mentioned to you that this is my first time doing this. He was the director of the undergraduate program for quite a few years, and he's the one that pretty much took on the students the first day they stepped into this university, and they guided them and offered support. So I would like if you could all give him a hand of applause. With all our hearts, we wish you that you have strength to follow your dream, to reach your potential, to find your own voice in the world, and come back and tell us. We would love to hear from you. Before I give the microphone to the director of the graduate program, I would like to thank our staff who organized this event. They did an amazing job. I don't think I would have survived without them. So I would just call the names and if you could give them a round of applause, and then we'll move on to the next stage of our event. So the lead organizer is Di Bucklet. Oscars. I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone here. Trisha Flynn Scales, Shema Bennett Shabir, Carolyn Gonton, Charlene Wallace, Dennis Seabrook, Jennifer William, Cindy Pico, Alan Porch, and Matt Hawk. This is our amazing staff who helped put together this event. So I'd like to thank them. And then best of luck to our students, and please come back and tell me your wonderful stories. So Dr. Hager, come back.
Thank you, Lena. I'm here to begin the part of the program that involves the graduate degrees. First of all, I want to congratulate all the parents and family members and graduates. Your child has pursued not one, but two, and maybe possibly 3 degrees. So I'm sure all of you are hoping that they are done now and will earn an income to start paying off loans, etc. This section of the program is a little bit more complex. We actually have 4 graduate programs represented here today. I'll be announcing the degrees for mathematics and applied mathematics. And then Dr. Alan Lloyd, who's in the colorful garb here, will be presenting degrees for biomathematics. And then Dr. Jeff Scroggs will present degrees for the master's in financial mathematics. So I'd like to start by calling down. So anyone who is being awarded a master's degree in mathematics or applied mathematics, please step forward. so we have some, I'll announce all the names. Our first graduate who is not here has a Master's of Science in Applied Mathematics, and that is Angeline Hendrix from Torrance, California. Our next Master's graduate has a Master's of Science in Mathematics, and that's Wei-Kun Wang from Jian, China. And now the next set of, those were summer 2013 graduates. This gets more complicated because we have master's degrees, PhD degrees, applied math degrees, summer graduates, and fall graduates. I'll let you do the computation on how many combinations there are. All right, so the following are graduates who are being awarded a Master's of Science in Applied Mathematics as fall 2013 graduates. Our first graduate is Sean Clemens from Canton, New York, who is not here. Then we have Lori Cuffney from Raleigh, North Carolina. Our next graduate is George Langford from Huntsville, Alabama. Congratulations, George. George is now in our PhD program. And our next graduate is Allison Lewis from Kennewick, Washington. And Allie is also in our PhD program. And they both got A's in my class this past semester. Okay, our next graduate is Emmy Lipsky-Magyar from Budapest, Hungary, who's not here. Our next graduate is Ismail Mohammed from Cairo, Egypt. Ismail is actually pursuing a PhD in civil engineering and also doing a master's in math, so he's quite versatile, and that is joining us as well. Our next graduate is Xiaoyan Mu from Beijing, China, not here. And then James Nance from Knoxville, Tennessee. Then we have Kevin Penner from Houston, Texas. Eric Scow from Archdale, North Carolina. And our next graduate is here is Courtney Waterman from the Bronx, New York. I'm also proud because Courtney was an RAU student with me before he started. And then our final graduate for Master of Science in Applied Mathematics is Ming Zheng from Yuyao City, China. All right, so now we're moving on to the Master of Science. Oh, okay. Sorry. Congratulations. All right, now we have fall 2013 graduates for the Masters of Science in Mathematics. Abby Bishop from Raleigh, North Carolina. Nicole Jin from Temperance, Minnesota. Brittany Hansen from Lakeland, Florida. All three of those students are currently in our PhD program. Tomohiro Itu from Nagano, Japan. And now Minji Lee from Ulsan, Korea. And our final graduate in this category is Colby Long from Chestertown, Maryland. All right, so now I would like to call the PhD graduates in mathematics and applied mathematics to all. Please come forward. As you can imagine, a PhD is a lot of work. Almost everyone up here now actually has a PhD because you guys all graduated this morning. Congratulations. Hopefully this is the final degree that your child is going to. Most of our students here, in fact, almost all of them have jobs, so I know they'll be earning soon. And what's great for us is that when they go out, especially to four-year colleges and other universities, they do a great job in sending us back wonderful new students for our PhD program. So I hope you guys will continue that tradition and send us wonderful students to carry on the tradition of excellence here at NC State. All right, so I'm going to start by announcing the doctorate or the PhD graduates in applied mathematics for summer 2013. Our first graduate is Matthew Bomer, and he is from So Matthew did his doctoral thesis work with Eric Kalkofen, and he is working as a visiting assistant professor at Wofford College in South Carolina. Congratulations. Our next graduate is not here is William Cousins from Columbia, South Carolina. He worked with Dr. Pierre Grimaud. Our next graduate is Susan Crook from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Susan also worked with Dr. Pierre Grimaud, and she is an assistant professor at Loras College in Iowa. Congratulations, Susan. Our next graduate is Zachary Kens from Moorhead, Minnesota. Zach worked with the one and only Tom Banks, our commencement speaker. And Zach is currently employed at MIT Lincoln Labs, where we have a huge contingent of NC State graduates. Keep coming back. Our next graduate couldn't be here because her postdoc is in England, so it's a bit of a trek. Allison Margolski from Montclair, New Jersey. The next graduate is Megan Sawyer. Megan is from Denver, Colorado. She did her doctoral work with Ian Brand, and she is assistant professor at Southern New Hampshire University. Our next graduate is not here as well. He's at Los Alamos in New Mexico, Jeff Willard from Chagrin Falls, Ohio. And our final graduate in this category is Justin Wright. Justin is from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. He did his doctoral work with John Franke, and he's an assistant professor at Plymouth State University. And he was also in our RE program. All right, so the next category is summer 2013 graduates for the PhD in mathematics. Our first graduate is Kenneth Ball from Salisbury, North Carolina. Kenneth did his work with Dr. Dmitry Zenkov, and he is a postdoc at UT San Antonio and also working at the Aberdeen Proving Ground in the Army Research Lab in Maryland. Our next graduate is Catherine Brenneman from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Catherine worked with Dr. Helmick, and Catherine, I understand, is working for the NSA, so I can't tell you. Our next graduate is JD or John Hutchins, who is not able to be here. He is from Raleigh, North Carolina. And then we have Ming Zhang from Jingzhou, China. And then our next graduate is here, Shirley Law from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Shirley worked with Dr. Nathan Redding, and she's an assistant professor at Washington College in Maryland. Our next graduate is Daniel Marincelli from Billings, Montana. And he's not here. He worked with Dr. Jesus Rodriguez. And then lastly in this category, but not least, Emma Norbrothen from Acton, Massachusetts. Also worked with Dr. Hellman. Emma is also assistant professor at Plymouth State University in New Hampshire. We're pretty good at matchmaking as well. All right, so that's the batch of summer 2013 graduates. So now we'll move on to fall 2013 graduates for the PhD, and we'll start with applied mathematics. Ann Konstolansky is our first graduate. Ann is from Washington, D.C. and worked with Dr. Tim Kelly, but couldn't be here. Our next graduate is Angeline Hendrix from Port Isabel, Texas. Angeline worked with Dr. Jim Selgrade, and hot off the presses, she's got a job at GlaxoSmithKline. And our next graduate is Jerry McMahon from Munford, Tennessee. Here. The next graduate is Terrence Pendleton. Terrence is from Phoenix City, Alabama. He did his work with Dr. Alina Chertock. And Terrence is a postdoc at Iowa State University. Our next graduate is Carrie Green. Carrie worked with Dr. Banks as well. She's from Cary, North Carolina, and she's a research professor at NC State. And our next graduate is Eric Smith. Eric is from Knoxville, Tennessee, and did his doctoral work with Dr. Semyon Singoff. All right, and the final batch that I have the pleasure of announcing are the PhD Fall 2013 graduates in mathematics. And the first graduate is Elga Elamami from Benghazi, Libya. I worked with Dr. Jilin Lee, and he has a faculty position in Libya. Our next graduate is Daniel Fleischer, who's not here, from Cary, North Carolina. And last but not least, Dr. Nathaniel Schwartz from Charlottesville. He also worked with Dr. Helmick, and he's an assistant professor at Washington College in Maryland. Before we move on, I'd just like to ask all the thesis advisors of the doctoral students, if you're here, please stand up. We'd like to thank you for all your hard work and give you a round of applause. All right, congratulations again, everyone. I'll now pass it on to Dr. Alan Lloyd, who will award degrees for the biomathematics graduates.
Thank you very much. So the biomath program is our smallest program within the math department, but I like to think it is one of the friendliest and liveliest programs that we have. So we have I have two graduates to announce, so will Michael come on down. And while he's doing that, I'll mention Andrew Snyder-Beatty, who got a master's degree this summer. He is now working in Oxford, UK, which is where I got this ridiculous attire from when I was a PhD student. And so because he's 3,500 miles a week, couldn't be here today. But fortunately, Michael Robert, who graduated with a PhD this this fall, can be here. He's from Pearl, Mississippi, and his advisor was Dr. Alan Lloyd. So it gives me particular pleasure to announce Michael to you. During working with me for 5 years, he decided to move away and went to the University of New Mexico, where he's now a postdoc.
So it's my pleasure to introduce the graduates of the Financial Mathematics program. It's a professional master's program that is designed to help people get ready for the workplace, as opposed to preparing necessarily for a PhD, but some going for a PhD. The summer graduates I don't think are here, but let me have all of the graduates come on down so that we don't trip over each other. Coming down to be recognized. And So Kashif Rana graduated last summer. He's back in Pakistan. How's-Wei Wei, Edward, who likes to be called, and Xingran Zhao are both looking for jobs. So if you need to have somebody quantify your assets, give me a call and I'll connect you. The first one that I would like to talk about this graduating class is, and this is the fall graduating class, is Sam Bush. He's going to be working at Allianz. Wisconsin. And I want to make sure, now all the financial math students that are here, they want to get pictures. If he moves too quick, let me know. We'll hold him back. Catherine Varga is not here. She's in the PhD program in mathematics, applied mathematics here, but she's continuing on her graduate studies here at NC State. Shangju Wang. At a securities company in China, but we're not sure if he's going to stay in the United States or go to China after he graduates. Chung Yu, and from Beijing, China, and he focused on his studies and starting to look for a job tomorrow. Okay. Shi Haozhu. Got some offers for on-site interviews during finals, but he decided to take his finals instead.
Thank you all for introducing our graduates. I think we should give another round of applause to all our students because our NC State graduates are, undergraduates are going on to graduate school or the best paying jobs in the States or nation. And the same for our graduate students. We are nationally recognized as one of the best programs in the mathematical sciences. So we are very proud of you all and make us proud and go do great things. This is the end of the ceremony. Before we all go, I would like the faculty to stand so that we can thank them all for all the years of mentoring the students. And finally, the most important group of people here, the parents, they should get a warm round of applause for the parents. And without the full support of your parents, none of you would have gotten this far. So, this is the end of the ceremony. Please join us for some cake, lemonade, and some good time up in the lobby down there. If you want more pictures, we'll stay around here. We'll make as many pictures as you want, in whatever poses you want. And after that, go party and celebrate and enjoy. Thank you for coming.